Oh my goodness me. That's some EDM. Okay. Calm down, Zoe. No, I'm a bit of a sucker for some EDM. I have to admit, fucking love it. I feel the beat, it's like a bit of a light on actually, because I'm like, or actually it just makes me want to go and listen to some more BEBE Rexha. Kia ora and welcome. My name's Stylistic and I'm your vocal coach for today because we have the pleasure of taking a look at BEBE Rexha with New Religion. We're going to be looking at what is she up to with her voice, how is she creating these sounds, and how on earth can you create them. Although it took her many years of vocal lessons to get there, because she is a very highly trained singer. I can't wait to help you. So if you want to learn more about vocal technique, then hit that subscribe button so that I can help you understand it more with your favorite artists. I saw in the comments that this might be an EDM version. If you're not, I am here for some EDM. Never heard this song before though.
New Religion, BEBE Rexha.
In the night, I heard a cry that brought me back to life. It sang to me a melody, and I was hypnotized. With every note, it pulled me close until I kissed the sky. I found my purpose in the churches filled with neon lights.
Oh my goodness me. That's some EDM. Okay. Calm down, Zoe. I think we're around the E4 with the E above middle C. Slap bang in the chest voice, thicker vocal folds, lower down in the range. But she's got the again, first time listening to the song, I don't know the lyrics. So we've got a little bit of opening in the vocal folds there. I don't know what this is. The opening of the vocal folds there, a little bit of breath, and then she's constricting above those vocal folds in order to create that kind of pressurized sound. Let's just do that again.
In the night, I heard a cry that brought me back to life. It sang to me a melody, and I was hypnotized. With every note, it pulled me close until I kissed the sky.
Okay, so we can obviously hear the second track, whatever. We've got the she's got the microphone very close to her mouth. Now, I know that there's an audio engineer on the back, but that also means that the sound is very quiet. When we're singing with air, we actually can't make the sound very loud. We can't make the sound very loud. It's just part and parcel of having less vocal fold closure. The sound's actually quite quiet. Because if we were to sing loudly, we'd actually be pushing more air and would most likely push the note out of tune. So she's really holding back that breath there.
It sang to me a melody, and I was hypnotized. With every note, it pulled me close until I kissed the sky. I found my purpose in the churches filled with neon lights. So bright, and so
Oh, okay, so we do know that BEBE has had classical singing lessons. This is probably the first notes where I'm wearing her neon lights. We've got that slightly more classical rounding of the vowel there. Little bit of a dip in the tongue, that oh, lots of space here at the back of the throat. And really the trick of this is the thyroid tilt. That's what's making it sound a little bit more classical. Can you see that? And the church and filled with neon lights. She's got a vertical larynx position at the beginning, a little bit more spoken on pitch, and then she's allowed that thyroid tilt to come through to this oh. She's also dropping the tongue a little bit there, darkening that sound. Oh, most singers, if they were to do this in my studio, I guarantee they would pull the pitch down a little bit. So when we're darkening the tone, we're not actually allowing the tongue to go back down onto the larynx. The tongue is actually further, it's quite far. So if this was the root of my tongue, the back of the tongue is actually quite far forward, and we're shaping the vowel in the middle. But the back of the tongue is still out of the way for the larynx. Otherwise, you do tend to push it out of tune. I'll go into a little bit like what thyroid tilt is a little bit later. I can't quite figure out was she going live or was she singing live? Not really too sure. Whichever one that she's singing, it sounds good. But you can see that, and what I was thinking is maybe she's singing that higher note because as she took the microphone away from her mouth, and when she goes, you can immediately hear, like, even I'm not going further away from my microphone, it's a louder sound. Higher notes actually sound louder when we're singing them, even though we're thinning the vocal folds, yeah? Interesting little fun fact for a pub quiz.
I feel the beat, it's like a new religion. Out on the floor, I felt me in the rhythm. It lifts me up, it's love with no condition. I found the music, my new religion. New religion. My new religion. New religion. Don't wanna leave, yeah, I believe I found a deeper meaning. I'm on the move.
I know if you've been here on the channel before, you know I'm a bit of a sucker for some EDM. I have to admit, fucking love it. Yeah, this is definitely going on my workout playlist. So, I don't know how much she's singing of that chorus, but it doesn't really matter. We've got. Found a very similar space to the beginning of the song. We have probably, I think it's more of a vertical thyroid position. It doesn't really sound very sung. So what I'm talking about vertical thyroid is the thyroid is here where the vocal folds live. So we go, there's not really vibrato. It sounds like quite a straight tone and there's quite a lot of mass on the vocal folds. Whereas if I was to go, we would maybe hear a little bit less of this sort of staccato is the wrong word, but this sort of like more spoken kind of feeling in that section. Why does this matter? Because especially when we're lower it down in the range in a chest voice quality, sometimes a vertical larynx position can actually help us to get better vocal fold closure. Tilting the thyroid or making it sound more sung actually thins the vocal folds, which is not often what we want, especially in these types of sections. And I tell you, I'm listening to a lot of EDM.
Out on the floor, I felt me in the rhythm. It lifts me up, it's love with no condition. I found the music, my new religion. New religion.
This is really perfect because BEBE Rexha is obviously, you know, she's a fantastic singer, but she does sing a lot of EDM as well. So we've got an economy of the articulation. So she's not going, I feel the love, I'm ba-ba-da. You can see her mouth is barely moving. I feel the love, ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-da-da-da-da. Because the more we move the mouth, the more it starts to sound like a different style of singing. Okay, so certain styles of singing have sort of certain mouth movements, certain mouth shapes that we deem to be appropriate, and especially this low in the range with more of that spoken voice quality, we don't want loads of mouth movement, but she's not locking the jaw. There's still plenty, you know, she did need to open her mouth. There's still a flexibility there.
Don't wanna leave, yeah, I believe I found a deeper meaning. I'm on the move, I'm in the mood, nothing can touch this feeling. Lost in the sound that's all around, I feel my body healing. I found my purpose in the church, it's doing me alive, so bright.
I think we can hear more of that thyroid tilt coming through. So one thing with BEBE is she sort of goes in here, and again, I'm not making fun of this. It's just sort of like me creating a little bit of this sound.
Believe I found a deeper meaning. I'm on the move, I'm in the mood, nothing can touch this feeling. Lost in the sound that's all around, I feel my body healing. I found my
So you could, I'll feel the there's sort of like a little bit of tightening going on there as she's going high. You can hear that she's the one singing the other voices on the tracks as well, but whether that's sort of like a vocal doubler or whether that is coming through on the track, I'm not a good enough, like I'm not an audio engineer at all. That's why in my gigs, I hire someone who knows more about this than I do so that it sounds good. I'm not paid to know about audio engineering. You can hear that kind of tightening going on. That tightening is generally created with what we call twang, which is a tightening of the area above the larynx. It's also coupled with the larynx going higher in order to take those thicker vocal folds higher in the range. Acoustically, that comes across as being a lot quieter for us inside our own heads, but for the audience, it comes across as being, it stays the same. If not, it sounds louder as they're going higher. I think she is doing a no. So we've got that loads of thyroid tilt. We've almost gone into a different voice. Well, we've gone into a completely different voice quality because she's got that, which is a little bit more of that vertical thyroid position in the harmony. And she's going, oh. I mean, why? Don't know. That's her decision. She wrote the fucking song. So it's that, oh, we would take that to be more of a classical position because we've got a rounded vowel. We've got more vibrato. We've got a slightly lowered larynx position and mass on the vocal folds. So that sort of like quadfecta there is what's causing my brain to go like ding, 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 classical. She is going, Lord! I think she is. So you could see that little bit of jaw wobble going on there. Now, again, not to poo-poo anybody. I'm just saying if you're singing the song, we don't want that to be something that happens. But in a singer like BEBE, we don't really try and fix what's not broken. And if she doesn't have a problem with it, then we often don't have, as a vocal coach, the singer is the one that makes that ultimate call in the end. But when we're going up into that thinner vocal fold, higher in the range, higher larynx position, shit loads of thyroid tilt in order to thin the vocal folds, also to allow us up and over the passaggio. We've got that all rounded mouth shape. You don't have to always hit that on that mouth shape. We've got a relaxed jaw. That little jaw wobble there can come from excess tension here underneath the tongue. Could also come from a whole bunch of other stuff. But I think she is singing that note. Okay, so this song is making me think of something else. What is it? Can't put my finger on it, but like this song is really reminding me of something else, and it'll come to me probably after I finish filming. We're down on the C sharp to the D. New religion. It's important that we're adding in a little bit of that constriction. New religion, and we're using the off, or the way we come off the note is a huge way we can accentuate, especially in actually not just in EDM, because it's quite similar in a lot of the pop kind of areas of singing. So the new religion, using the breath as an additional means of expressing ourselves, but also as punctuation. So we can use the that she's using at the end or the beginning. The new religion. I'm not sure she did that dramatically. But anyway, the beginnings and ends we need to watch out for. Okay, so we need to, it feels very odd to like listen to this and not be dancing in a club with a drink in my hand. But I suppose I have a drink. You know, I could pretend it's vodka, but it's not, it's water. Let's just go back on this bit. I used to believe there was nothing for me. We're up on that G4. Why does it matter everywhere where these bloody notes are, Zoe? Because we need to know the architecture of the song so that we can also match it to where it's supposed to feel within our voice. It's much easier if we know where these things are. But we've got used to believe there was nothing to be. I think there's quite a lot of constriction behind that sound. So what she's just done there is extremely difficult to basically offload a lot of the weight from the vocal folds. When we're low down in the range, we've got thicker vocal folds. And we need to like offload the weight and also take away some of that constriction because she's going, I used to believe that, and she's gone up to that C sharp, I think. And so she's gone up to that note. She's obviously hit it in a slightly darker quality than I have. You can also see she's gone down. We'll talk about that in a second. So I want you to notice the way that there's no constriction on that top note, but she like lets go of it as she goes up the range. Forever is all that I want. And she's using that thyroid tilt just to bring the vibrato in at the end of that note. And adding in that vibrato at the end there. So that's important that we're using vibrato as a coloring technique, that we're not just like blanketly washing it all over everything. Obviously, though, that is a stylistic decision that every singer needs to make for themselves. And you can hear, Jimmy, come on, how you feeling? That's her higher speech. Jimmy, come on, how you feeling? So we know that BEBE can go up there. So that thicker vocal fold further up in the range, again, acoustically for us in our bodies, it's going to feel like we're sort of taking it smaller. It's going to feel quite small. And sometimes for people at the beginning can sound a little bit squeaky inside our bodies, but outwards it doesn't sound like that. I mean, it might have to do to you here, but whatever. I know it's going to stop in a second, but a lot of this, the stopping is also to do with the copyright, right? So we got new religion. She's back down in that more spoken set. I think I can hear her singing one of the lower harmonies because it sounds quite present, those higher harmonies on the track. So we've got that again. I found a bit on a new religion. Okay, so we've got that vertical thyroid position, thicker vocal folds. This could actually be a really great song for someone who's wanting to look at their chest voice sound and work on. So when I say speech quality and chest voice, I'm kind of meaning a similar sort of thing. But speech quality and chest voice can mean two different things as well. And that's actually something I'm going to be teaching inside. I have not done this in 2 years, actually. I'm going to be running a live Find Your True Voice course. Okay. I am very, very excited. As I say, first time teaching this live outside my online singing school, the Vocal Academy, in 2 years. I cannot wait to meet you. you can sign up using the link in the description below, because I'm going to be taking you through exactly how to get these lower notes with that amount of volume, that amount of resonance, and that amount of vocal fold contact lower in the range. And talking about the difference between making it sound more sung, which is a goal that a lot of my students have, and making it sound sometimes less sung, which is, for example, what I worked with, what I worked on is with this, you know, my withs and ons. I worked on exactly this vocal technique with a student last night. They were coming from a jazz and a classical background, and they wanted to make it sound more poppy. So check out the link in the description below for my Find Your True Voice course. It's going to be live with me, getting coached with me in small groups, getting feedback, getting the results that I know that you want, so that you've got this beautiful like base to work from for your singing. And even if you're already an experienced singer, if you struggle with those lower notes, this is going to be the course for you as well. So check it out in the description below. Check out some more BEBE up here. I think I've just got to go and have a bit of a light on, actually, because I'm like, or actually it just makes me want to go and listen to some more BEBE Rexha. So I'm going to go and do that, and you're going to go and watch some more BEBE up here to keep on learning. And just remember, everyone can learn to sing. These are tools that I'm going to be giving you that you can use for a lifetime. So I'd love to see you in my courses. Happy singing. Ka kite anō.